All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons in tonight's video. What better way to start it off than Michael Penix's preseason debut? But I just want to say really quickly, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, folks, this is one of the best teams in the NFC. All right, I'll just leave it at that for the time being. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But if we go back a couple of months ago, Michael Penix Jr. being selected in the top 10 at pick number 8, it was by far the most controversial selection in the 2024 NFL draft class. People were even touting it. And I don't mean like weeks after or months after. I mean like seconds, like minutes, the hour after this draft pick. People were calling, the Atlanta Falcons like this is the worst draft pick of all time. And it's just crazy because this is a succession plan. Sorry, I always can never say that word. This is a success. This is a success. I'm like that dude in Impractical Jokers. I'm like Murray when they. Anyways, we're getting way too off topic. This is a succession plan. Succession plan. There we go. 4 times a charm. The Atlanta Falcons hopefully have their franchise quarterbacks. They hopefully have their starting quarterbacks for the next 10 to 15 years here, all right? Now, Kirk Cousins was obviously inactive for the first preseason game, but Penix did a phenomenal job. Played the entire first quarter, 9 of 16, 104 yards. He had a beautiful 41-yard dart to Chris Blair. The down-the-field accuracy was exactly why the Falcons drafted him at pick number 8. This is exactly why people were saying he's one of the better quarterbacks in the class. He should be selected before the Raiders, select at 13. The only reason I'm throwing that in there is because I have a, Las Vegas Raiders channel. We've been covering them for a couple of years. But, my point just is the Atlanta Falcons are a really good football team. And now they have 2 really good quarterbacks, or at least the latter, and Michael Penix Jr. hopefully really good. But if it's just a preseason football game, I know, but folks, I thought he looked really freaking good. So before we get any further into this video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We should be making way more Falcons content. So if we could try to get this video to 250 likes, we'll ramp up the Falcons videos. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. What people don't understand about the Atlanta Falcons this upcoming season is even, now that I say that out loud, even the last 3 years, folks, when Desmond Ridder, and I hate being like negative Nancy on these. I try to always make positive NFL videos. But when you have Desmond Ridder as your starting quarterback, he got Marcus Mariota and Taylor Heineke. And no, this isn't college Marcus Mariota, unfortunately. You can only do so much. And so I always kind of felt like Arthur Smith was always given kind of a tough hand, right? Because there's nothing consistent at quarterback. There just was not for the last 3+ years. There just hasn't been since Matt Ryan, left. You can only do so much. And I always kind of viewed and I always say this in my Steelers videos, I always kind of viewed Arthur Smith not as the best leader of men. I view him as a leader, but more so, I think offensive coordinator is the job Arthur Smith is perfect at. I think maybe being a head coach, too many chickens to hatch, however that saying goes. But anyways, I'm not trying to rag on Arthur Smith or, the last 3 years of the Atlanta Falcons. But my point is, you have Drake London, you have Bijan Robinson, you have Kyle Pitts, you have an underrated defense, you have a brand new head coach, a brand new offense, brand new coordinator. Like, the Falcons are doing everything right, and there's very little pressure on them this upcoming season to actually win a Super Bowl. It's not like Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of years. You have a very weak schedule. And when things get a little bit more difficult, I'm thinking the first game that comes to my head is around middle of the season. I don't have the schedule right here, against the Dallas Cowgirls. A lot of your in-between games that could theoretically go either way, 2 good teams going up against each other, a lot of those games are at home. But for the most part, outside of the first 3 games, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Kansas City, it's a really, weaker schedule, right? What a lot of people also don't understand is this is one of, if not the best offensive line in the entire National Football League, and they have continuity not only at their starters, but their backup unit. And once again, It's literally just because of the quarterback play, in my opinion. As a Packers fan, I got no bad blood. Oh, geez, well now I'm thinking about the NFC North championship game or the NFC championship game against you guys. That game was forgotten when I said that sentence out loud. But I don't have any bad blood to the Atlanta Falcons. But this is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You're right up there with teams like the Detroit Lions. Nobody, not a soul who knows offensive line talk would say this is, a worse than top 5 offensive line. And they have continuity in starters and depth pieces. If you remember, Dakota Prescott went 13-3 as a rookie with a phenomenal offensive line. So when you do have a good offensive line, it makes things a lot easier. And, I know I keep ragging on the quarterbacks last couple of years, and I guess that could be a little bit, dude, can we not talk in this video? What's that word that starts with the H? Hypocritical. Jeez, man, I apologize. We're not the brightest over here. Anyways, you have a really good offensive line, and you're also in a very weak division. I love Baker Mayfield's vengeance story. I wish him nothing but the best of luck. But, Tampa Bay did end up losing some pieces. Carolina, the worst team in the NFL last season, a very young Bryce Young. And then you have, moving forward with that, why can I not think of, this is a pretty rough video. Cannot think of the 4th team in the fucking NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. That's why I couldn't think of them. All right, don't even need to talk about them. Hopefully some Falcons fans appreciated that. Anyways, the only concern I think somebody could have, and no, it's not the defense, and no, it's not Raheem Mostert, and no, it has nothing to do with the defense. I always see critiques to the Atlanta Falcons. It always has to do with their mediocre defense. I don't think that's the case. I think if anything, they just are looking to find the right combinations to unlock all of these cats' potential. David Onyemata, Zach Harrison, Grady Jarrett. There's a lot of hype with this defensive line. And then you have Jesse Bates, one of the best safeties in the NFL. Richie Grant. You've got an intriguing, AJ Terrell. You've got an intriguing cornerback room, an intriguing linebacker room with guys like Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis, Lorenzo Carter. But my only question mark would be the offensive wide receivers. But thankfully, you have to keep in mind, you have Bijan Robinson and you have Tyler Algier. And these are just straight up playmakers. Bijan Robinson, we know he can catch and run. Kyle Pitts been severely underutilized ever since he was in the NFL pretty much. And Drake London, same thing kind of applies to Kyle Pitts, just underutilized since he's gotten into the NFL. Darnell Mooney, back-to-back bad seasons. But I just want to go back 3 years ago where he was a 1,000-yard receiver. And keep in mind, that season, Andy Dalton started for the Chicago Bears, and then Justin Fields took over halfway through. I've ragged on Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense way too many times, so we'll save that for a different day. But then I see intriguing guys like Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud, 2 years ago, had 14 catches for 243 yards. You would think that's a 17.5 yards per catch average. You would think that number was skewed because it's only 14 receptions. Folks, the longest catch he had that season was 42 yards. The speed is unbelievable with Ray. And I'm going to need Darnell and Ray and, Casey Washington, rookie out of Illinois. They need to step up. Somebody needs to step up because unfortunately, obviously, Rondale Moore got injured, season-ending injury in your first preseason game. So I hate to end it on a sour note, but folks, there's no shot. There is no freaking shot the Atlanta Falcons don't win 10 games, in my opinion. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, and give me a win-loss record prediction for the Atlanta Falcons down below. Peace.